loving that mellotron.
What's popping, gamers? Welcome back to the GRYITH show. I think it's bi-weekly, right? This is a bi-weekly show now, right? This isn't weekly anymore. Okay, let's get on with it. So, I saw Little Women yesterday. But I don't like period pieces, so I shouldn't be the person to talk about that. And I saw 1917 last week. But I don't like war movies, even though that was a really good movie, so I shouldn't be the person to talk about that. I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about either of those things. So, for What About today, I'm going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery. And if you know me, which you might, but more likely won't, you'll know that I have a real thing for AR. I think it's the future. I think within the next 10 years, we're going to see smartphones, or what smartphones do in our lives, replaced by some sort of AR interface. I think we're just waiting for that big breakthrough. And on a consumer level, where a lot of the innovation is happening within AR, is in mobile gaming, with Apple's AR Kit and Google's AR Core, what Microsoft has been doing, a lot of great stuff, obviously the HoloLens, but again, on a more consumer-friendly level, Minecraft Earth. There's a lot of crazy breakthroughs with that, very effortless occlusion of object. You know what? I'm not going to get into this right now, because right today I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, everyone's favorite franchise. But what am I saying? I'm not talking about a regular Five Nights at Freddy's game. I'm talking about Five Nights Special Delivery AR. What is Five Nights Special Delivery AR, you might be thinking, because I've never heard of this, and I'd never heard of it until it was recommended to me like 2 weeks ago, and then I downloaded it and left it sitting there for a week, and then opened it. Anyway, point is, I have played a lot of location-based AR games, which is what this is, and most AR games are going to be location-based. Let me read off some of the ones that I personally like. Pokemon Go is obviously best in class for a lot of reasons that are almost accidental. The Walking Dead R-World is a gem that is kind of slept on. That's the second best mobile AR game that I know of. Zombies Run kind of doesn't count in my opinion. Minecraft Earth is an absolute... This Microsoft is Mojang. They know how to make a game. Why isn't it better? It's not very good. Harry Potter Wizards Unite was a flop and kind of deserved to be a flop. There was a lot of just mistakes they made on a base level with that game. Ingress shows its age. Ghostbusters World has some fantastic monster designs and monster ideas and takes from real world cryptids. But there's not much to do. Jurassic World Alive is kind of hilariously bad. It's like one of those games that's like Resident Evil 5 and 6. You like the video game equivalent of The Room or Birdemic. You could play it and you'd enjoy yourself, but not because it's good, because it's just a fucking mess. Snatch fails on its premise, but has high production value. And Men in Black, the AR game, it feels like it was made by one person in one afternoon in a game jam or something. But this game, Five Nights at Freddy's AR, takes a different approach to all of them. It's almost, I would go as far as to say, the most unique AR game, whilst it does obviously take a lot of inspiration from its predecessors. It kind of does what they do, but in reverse. In almost every single AR game, you know, cross maybe The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead is kind of the same thing, but it's also not. In every other AR game, you are actively seeking out things in your environment. In this one, you are actively trying to avoid things in your environment. This is, in theory, the anti-Pokemon Go. Instead of trying to collect them all, you are trying to escape. The premise of the game is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria has a new service where an animatronic will come to your birthday party and perform for you. But of course, being Five Nights at Freddy's, the animatronics malfunction and they come to your door and they, you know, attack you or whatever. And there's a lot of things that this game does right, actually. It has a much more of a focus on the AR rather than the location-based stuff, which Pokemon Go, let's be honest, the majority of the game is spent in the map screen, right? In this, the majority of the game is spent in the camera. They have these things, I can't remember what they're called, I was literally just playing it, so it's bad that I can't remember what they're called. These little things that you can collect that will make you stronger and make something that I'll get to in a bit a little stronger. But whilst you're in that screen, if something on the map screen attacks you, you don't have to go back to the map screen. It will override what you're doing seamlessly, and you will now be being attacked by an animatronic. And it does this great thing where there's a knock on the door sound, and if you're using headphones, it can sound pretty actually legit that there is a knock on the door. You go on the camera. The AR's not great, but considering what they're trying to do, there's no way that they could have really made it great. One thing I will say is, I think the reason the remnants are what they're called, the remnants exist is to try and make you spend most of your time in the camera screen, so that the AR core, I believe it's using AR core, it feels a lot like AR core, so that the AR core can make a more, a better scan of the environment around you, so that when you get attacked by an animatronic, it can track the animatronics to your environment better than it would otherwise. Where it all kind of falls apart is that would be the only gameplay. So they needed to kind of flesh it out, and they also need to have payment. They need to get paid for their job, and it's a free app. So what do? They add in this system where you can collect an animatronic, and you can have a suite of animatronics of your own. I'll be right back.
Was that the bite of 87? Bite of 87? Bite of 87? Bite of 87?
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, God. Stubbed my fucking toe. Right. I'm gonna move the camera. Oh, that's lopsided as fuck. Who cares? Who cares? Where it all starts to kind of fall apart is when it comes to the rest of the gameplay. Because they knew that just being attacked by animatronics and finding these remnants wouldn't be enough. So they add in this system where you can collect animatronics and send them out to do things. But it kind of falls on its face. It's kind of empty. The game really hits you hard with these, with all of the highlights at the beginning. It introduces you with the animatronics attacking you, which is great. Then it shows you the remnants. It does some really great, well-animated full-screen cutscenes. Mobile games need to have full-screen cutscenes, for God's sake. And it's all really good interactive cutscenes, set pieces, things like that. Great, not set pieces, what the fuck am I on about? Stuff like that. And it's really solid. And there's an email section where it does, it's obviously part of the storyline, but they're really immersive and really help you get involved. But it feels very flawed, and visually everything kind of looks a little cheap. And I'm sure they didn't have much money to make this game on, but I feel like there's a lot of potential. I've said for a while, a lot of potential for a horror AR location-based game that's not being realized, and this kind of is on the right lines, but we need something else. Just remake Paranormal Activity Sanctuary, please. I swear to God, I didn't fucking imagine that game. It's real. I've played it. I played it when I was a wee baby. Paranormal Activity Sanctuary is a real game. Come on, it's real. Stop fucking Mandela affecting me, alright? I've talked enough about this thing. This is not... Here, how about this for a review? This is not £10 worth of food. There is no way that this is £10 worth of food. Are you fucking serious, KFC? Are you serious with this bullshit? That's it. This small fries, this popcorn chicken, and this tiny little bag of chicken, that's £10 worth of food to the Colonel. There's no fucking way. I could get triple that at McDonald's, alright? But I don't want to fucking eat at McDonald's because they have like 2 good things on the menu and he just got rid of one of them, alright? Bring the Big Tasty back. Right, I'm done. Next segment. Let's go. I'll just do 2 segments today because I talked about Five Nights at Freddy's for too long and I want to eat my food. Cryptid of the week, obviously. I'm always gonna fucking do that. Today's cryptid of the week is you ever heard of Johnny Fingerhands? Yeah, it's a pretty underground. You've not heard of that one. Johnny Fingerhands. He's this guy. He goes around. Today's cryptid of the week is Michael Mouse. I've talked about Michael Mouse before in my top 10 Disney facts video. He's a strange creature discovered in Florida. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Can you tell I've not scripted this week's episode? I'm kind of I'm just really distracted by the food, I'll be honest. And I've been fucking ripped off. Alright. Let's go to live segment. See you. Bye-bye.
Is that the bite of 87? Bite of 87? Bite of 87? Bite of 87? What? Bite of 87? What? What? My whole world is turned upside down. That doesn't make any sense.
Alright, we are live.
Hi, I'm wearing a dress.
Hi, welcome to the
It's very
GRYITH
cold.
Show. I'm gonna do the intro now. Hi, welcome to the GRYITH Show, the only talk show which goes on about stupid shit sometimes, but also very intuitive gaming forums. We're here with our host GRYITH, who got food poisoning from that KFC you just saw in the recorded segment, and also Jess over there, looking wonderful in the
Who took care of
in the
me like an
blanket,
angel.
Thank you, thank you.
and who took care of that mess, and also me, the side person who's gonna make
The voice
comments
of
every
God.
now and then. The voice of
The
Satan,
narrator.
actually.
Oh no. I knew I'd made a deal with the wrong man. But yes, I did, in fact, get food poisoning that night. And it's either from the KFC, my pure
Or the
rage
Coke.
about the KFC, or the meatballs that I
Coke.
cooked later that night that weren't properly defrosted. It could have been any of them.
Wait, what wasn't?
I don't think-
defrosted?
The meatballs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't think that would actually hurt you. More than likely, it's the KFC because
Are you telling me
You
that I
know.
could sue KFC?
you could, but since you don't fully know because you had the meatballs and it like there's a low chance it could have been that. Who knows? It could have actually been that. But since you don't fully know that it was that,
They have
you
good
can't really
lawyers.
look at them and go, "You gave me food." Yeah, they also have good lawyers. They are
I'm willing to bet.
mogul. They're from the U.S. and also they're in the U.K. They're everywhere.
Philip.
KFC, dude, you can't do shit to them.
KFC, more like KFS, which stands for cunts fucking shit.
That's really good, Josh. That was really
Hey,
good.
you should show the GRYITH in the Hall meme real quick before we
The
get
Griffin
started.
Hall meme. I will. I don't know where to go. It's in anomaly posting, right?
Yes.
Griffin Hall.
GRYITH in the Hall, where he going?
Where he going? Griffin
Where he
Hall.
going?
Cold, Josh.
You're cold.
Yeah.
How are you cold? I'm boiling.
I'm
Melting.
so cold because it's a storm and it's really cold.
Griffin Hall. Where he going? I can't believe Samu made this in the space of time it took for this to be on screen and now.
No, I made that legitimately before it did the cut to the red area. Like,
Yeah.
legitimately, the second I saw that, I just, when Flub posted it in an anomaly posting, I'm immediately like, okay, time to go.
Do you know what that was meant to be? That bit at the beginning where I stood in the hall?
What?
The lights in the hallway here are motion activated, and in the past I've been stood out in the hall for long enough that it's caused the lights to turn off from not having people walk by them for long enough. So I was
So
thinking,
you're
and
planning on having the lights go off, and then it to turn into the red area.
I was planning on having the lights go off and using this fantastic red light that I now own,
It'd be too bright for the web.
and it's magnetic and it magnetizes to the ceiling out in the hall because it's metal for some reason. And I was going to be bathed in red light, and then it would cut to the other red light, and it would be great. And
You're
I can,
killing. My eyes.
but the lights never went off, so I gave up.
Anyway, GRYITH Show live.
Good show,
dude.
good show,
Good
everyone,
show,
good
good
show.
show.
Our first news story for today. I stole GRYITH's leather jacket out of his closet.
It's true. That was a limited edition, Apollo 11 range thing. It was something to do with Apollo 11, but it was leather, and it was a flight jacket, a leather flight jacket, and I want it back, you son of a bitch. Come out here. I know
No.
you're hiding in my walls.
No.
WTF is this? This is the GRYITH Show, Pappy.
Yeah,
And you better get freaking used to it,
and it's cold.
because we're going to do whatever we want. Look, here's the leaked logo for Duak.
Don't you mean dunk?
Yes, of course. Dunk. I came here for cam girls.
I'm a girl who is on camera.
That's technically true. Dunkachino.
All right. So let's get into the very most important first story. The Nether update for Minecraft.
Nether
Don't know if it's
update.
out yet. It's coming out soon, and they're adding a new material that's stronger than diamond. It's called netherite, and I'm pretty excited. Essentially, with the new nether, they're gonna have stuff that has ancient debris. It's gonna be in the lower. It's gonna be in the lower depths of the nether, and when you get that, you can refine it into scrap in a furnace, which is slow, and then you combine 4 of that scrap with 4 gold ingots, and you get netherite ingot. So it's a lot of work. Gold finally becomes viable for use.
Wow, gold is actually useful now.
Gold is actually useful for
have
something
thought?
other than aesthetic and powered rails.
Yeah. Also something to do with blue fire.
Yes, there is blue fire in the nether, but I also like to point out that netherite, if you accidentally say you're walking along and you're holding it in your hotbar, and then you accidentally hit Q and you're in the nether and it falls into lava and you're like, oh no,
Oh golly.
this is just like last week when I accidentally dropped 64 diamonds because I accidentally held Q and dropped a whole stack in there. Don't
What a
worry,
conundrum.
netherite items float in lava.
What?
That's really cool.
Netherite items float in lava, so you
That's
don't lose your
amazing.
gear. You
That's
still have to find a way to
freaking
get it
wild.
out of the lava. You still have to find a way to get it out of the lava.
If
but
I
you
were
can
to
get
wear a
it.
full suit of netherite armor, am I lava proof?
That's a good question. It does not tell us. I'm
That
willing
seems
to,
like an
netherite armor have
obvious-
higher toughness and durability than diamond. Netherite armor gives you knockback resistance. It doesn't say anything about heat, but I would assume because it's part of the nether that it should give you that. If
Right.
not, I'm gonna write a heavily worded letter to Mojang.
I'm gonna write a heavily worded letter to the head of Microsoft. I'm going straight to the top, I'll tell you.
I'm gonna write a tweet to Notch Minecraft.
He's gonna be like, I
I-
live in a big house and don't give a fuck anymore.
Notch is honestly the kind of petty I hope no one ever reaches.
Oh, absolutely. Netherite's boring as fuck, just saying that. Oh, calling Minecraft Jess. Minecraft Jess.
Okay.
Jess,
Yeah.
seeing it when you made Minecraft, because
Yeah.
we all know you made Minecraft
Yeah, I did.
alongside Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
Why did you make Netherite look so boring? Thanks for coming. Now we're going to talk about the new Animal Crossing Switch.
You mean the designed Switch with the
Yes.
designed power charger as well? Yeah.
It looks fucking cute. So good, in fact, that Jess, what did you do the moment you saw it? She bought it. She
it.
purchased it.
Because I have no self-control.
Money.
And it
fair.
is my exact aesthetic.
Money.
Like, it's the same colors as Frog Game, my dude.
It is the same colors
Right.
as Frog Game.
Coming from someone who didn't really play too much Animal Crossing, I do like the case. I do like the Switch. I like how on the back of the Switch it has like the little ocean waves
I
and
know,
Yeah, the
little,
that's what
patterns,
got
they're
little
me.
cute.
villagers and whatnot. I like the decal on the charge port, but I would not be willing, even if I was the biggest Animal Crossing super fan, I would not be willing to shell out more money because the Switch is already expensive on its
It's
own.
like
Oh no, I'm
400.
selling my old Switch. This
But
is
just
just like another Switch.
You still have to pay like 100.
Yeah.
You know what? You can spend your money however you want. But I wouldn't do
Yeah.
it.
I am
Give me that. You could have given me that money. I could have used it.
Jess, you could have commissioned me for all of the skills and talents that I can offer.
You could have commissioned me for video editing. I'll give you a fair price.
I'll give you a fair price. Right. Sammy, you'll be interested in this one. Do you remember the trailer that I said I didn't like for Final Fantasy VII Remake, the theme song trailer?
Listen here, you shut the fuck up.
I think it's bad. I think
The
it's
trailer.
bad. It makes it look
They-
stupid.
okay. Maybe it makes it look stupid to you. And yes, there is a sense of nostalgia which makes everybody else say, "Oh, I like it. It's good." But here's the thing.
Yes.
This game is being remade after years in full stunning 3D graphics that look so real and so like it's like there's
It doesn't
it's not like real life people, but it looks so good.
It doesn't
Everyone,
look
no
any
one's gonna
better
care
than
because
Final
everybody
Fantasy
who loved this
15.
game, everybody who loved this. No, this is much better than Final Fantasy.
No, I
15.
think it
I'm
looks the
going to
same as
gi-
Final
no,
Fantasy
no, no, no,
15.
no, no. Here's why. Because
tell.
in the actual overworld, it
Yes.
has better graphics and it has better animations than Final Fantasy 15. I've played through Final Fantasy 15 3 times. I can tell you that this is already better
many hours
than
is that?
15. Quite a bit. I played it like 2 times on Xbox and I'm going through it again on PC.
Holy smokes.
But it's already better, and it's just for people who've waited so many years for this sort of thing. It's very nice, especially since they're adding new stuff into Final Fantasy 7
Yes.
that we didn't see, and they're taking out a couple
Full
things,
3D graphics.
but it's not
the future.
big story. It's gonna ruin it if we don't have it.
Yes.
But adding in the stuff, we thought for sure they were gonna take out cross-dressing Cloud, and
Yes,
here's
I was
cross-dressing
100% sure. I've said on this show that they were going to take out cross-dressing Cloud, but they didn't. And I'm actually genuinely interested to see how they handle it. You know?
You can see in the trailer it shows how it's handled, like
Kinda.
how they act, because you can hear the dialogue and then you can see the scene where he's in the mansion and he speaks up to the guy.
Yeah.
But you can already for those even in this, I don't see how they can't look at Cloud and go, that's a dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, maybe it was really harder to tell in Final Fantasy 7 because you really
You know what? Maybe they're not judgmental of someone's looks. How about that?
But here,
Yeah.
I can see why they believe it once they give us the details of here's how he actually looks, here's what they've done, other than giving him a dress and a necklace and whatever else they were given, like a wig. This actually, I still wouldn't believe it, but if I didn't take a full glance and didn't really pay attention,
You
to
gotta
every
have a
detail,
certain
I
level
believe
of
it.
suspension of disbelief. Before I talk about the rest of the trailer, how do you feel about the fact you're gonna have to play it episodically? Because I'm not happy with that. They've taken so long to make this.
Episodically is how it was first released. I don't agree with that nowadays because all the technology we have, you can easily stick it onto one disc.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, because with the storage. But
and even if not one disc, there's
agree that
many
you
games
have
that come
to-
out with multiple discs now.
But yeah, and you only have to pay for them once. I don't agree. I think I didn't fully know because someone said yes, and if that's true, I don't really understand why. But if you have to pay for each individual period, like each individual chapter of the discs, not like you have to pay for each disc is what I mean. Like you gotta like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, which is how I'm assuming they're gonna bring it out because that's what they did it for the first one.
But
if you
I
have
just
to pay for each individual, that's kind of bull.
Yeah, I agree, especially if you're paying full price. If it was like paying $30 for each one, I'd be like,
20,
okay.
20, 20.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
pay
20,
20
20,
for each
20.
because
That would be fine.
talk-
I'd be
let's
like, yeah,
talk
okay,
American-
that's
let's-
fine.
Let's use American dollars for this sort of
That's
thing.
fine.
Because American dollars, 60 is the full game price
Yeah,
for a big
20,
game
20,
like
20
this.
would be like,
So
okay,
you're
I
bringing
can
out
can
3
roll with
different
that.
discs. Depending on what they're doing, I think they're bringing out 3 different discs. If they're doing it 3 different discs, it should do 20, 20, and 20.
Yes,
But if they're doing 2 different, it should be 30 and 30. It should not be more than that. You shouldn't have to pay $60 for each.
I agree.
probably
$60
will,
for each
and
is
I will probably
absolutely
hate every
ridiculous.
second of it. But I'm not gonna buy it right away because I need to save up money for MomoCon.
I'm not going to buy it right away because I'm not interested in it.
I want to get all 3 of them. But like with me, I want to get all 3 of them at once if I'm able to.
But the
So
thing that
there's a good,
the thing that really did it for me is actually the rest of the trailer. The cross-dressing Cloud stuff, I was like, fine, whatever. This character gives me big Resident Evil 4 vibes, 4 and 5 vibes. I don't know if you can see him on the screen.
the Dawn,
not in a good way. The dialogue in this scene is horrible, awful, poorly written, poorly voice acted. There's no excuse for that. I know it's a dub. No excuse. I've said this before. There's no voice acting in a dub. You can't just say, oh, it's a dub, so it's going to be bad. No, that's not a good enough excuse.
But it's a dub, so it's gonna be bad.
Fuck you. This
No,
fucking...
Let me.
This
I
feline
understand
talking...
that. I don't agree with it I don't agree with it either. But
Yeah.
I don't like they. You know, Squeenix has so much like pull. Even games like Kingdom Hearts, where a lot of the time you really don't like the dialogue because like the laughter is so forced, but their dialogue is so great. And in other games, their dialogue is so great. They have no excuse to have the dialogue be so lackluster in this game.
Absolutely,
which,
especially considering that this is probably the thing they've spent the most money on in the last like decade.
especially since they had to switch. They had to switch companies, or like people, development teams like twice.
Yeah.
Because they had their original people and they couldn't do that because they were too hard on work with whatever else was going on. And then they went to this other company who halfway through
Flub,
making
can you send a link in
leaked
live
stuff,
chat
so
to
Squeenix
Polish
scrapped
Shrek?
everything, said screw you, and went to this current company,
Yes, yeah.
which is where we're at now. But
then
like,
they-
what
but
my
then
real
they-
hope is, just go ahead.
They keep layering on stuff in the trailer that makes me think, this talking cat thing makes me think,
You mean Red 13?
yeah, I've never seen that thing before. It's stupid, and I don't like it.
Red 13 was a big character in the because he was part of the original.
Yeah. A lot of it
He's-
just seems like silly to the point of it's just bad. It's just kind of cringe.
Griff,
Like almost everything in the rest of the trailer is kind of cringe, I'll be honest.
Griff.
Yes.
May I point out that you worship a series full of sentient items and crazy beasts, and you're going to shit talk a canine creature. Who
Can I be honest with
speak.
you? I don't know what series you're referring. That could be several things that I worship.
SCP.
I don't worship SCP. SCP has some good entries, but 90% of it's garbage.
You worship a good bit of
talking
it.
peanut, Josh.
No,
We worship
no,
a talking
no.
peanut.
173 doesn't speak.
No,
That was a
this is
SpongeBob joke. Jess had many layers on that joke. It was SCP, and then SpongeBob, and then SCP again. God damn it, Jess! You're too smart for our tiny peanut brains.
Not only that, but you praised Stadia.
I maintain
And
that
look how
Stadia
well
is a
that
good
worked
service.
out.
I use Stadia daily. I am not joking.
He does actually.
It's a good service.
At the beginning, it wasn't.
No,
It's
and
still not great,
even
but
now,
it's
it's still
got
not
so
got all the
much
stuff that was
potential.
promised, and I think that's unacceptable. But at the same time, it's not like it's unusable. It's a good service.
That's fair, but just you're. All I'm saying is,
Yeah.
well, this might be biased because I loved this game to death. In fact, I finished Final Fantasy VII about 5 times. I've 100%ed it 2 times in total. I found all the items, I found all the weapons, I've beaten all the enemies, I've gotten all the characters, I've done all this. So it's very biased for me. But getting this, it's not a point of nostalgia. The reason I'm so excited for the remake is just
Yes.
because it's just reliving, which does sound like nostalgia.
You're
reliving the
describing
old story.
nostalgia.
No. But it's not fully nostalgia for me because I'm very interested in seeing how well they do with remaking this.
I'm
Because
also
I'm
curious to see
interested
how well they do.
I'm interested to see what they've cut out, what they've added, how they're going about it. I like the voice actors for Cloud and Sephiroth. They're completely different people.
Yeah.
Cloud's is doing very well. Sephiroth's voice actor's doing good. It's not this. You can tell it's a different
Yeah,
one, but with
I-
Cloud, it's really hard to tell it's a different voice actor.
I agree. I couldn't have said it better myself.
So it's just I'm very excited to see where they take it.
Yes.
Nostalgia is driving it, but it's also my intent of wondering how well is this going to be. And now you're going to look at the Shrek dub, which sounds superiorly like the English dub, but is actually not English.
Yeah, Flub
it's
always
just on
points
point
out
even
when
in
we
the
were
other
talking
language.
about it, they do
Dubs.
very good impressions of Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy,
Eddie Murphy.
and it's really good. And oh my god, that's so good. It's shockingly good. It's bizarre. I'm not gonna
So
play
you
the whole
know.
thing because obviously. Anyway, I'm curious to see how well they do Final Fantasy VII, but
as well.
yeah, as well.
But
But I do think that a lot of a lot of people put it on their, most anticipated games of the year list. I really think that a lot of it's just nostalgia, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but to me it just seems like a lot of cringe. Seems like a lot of hoopla.
yeah, but like with me, it's
Yes, we
like
can.
partially nostalgia, but the most of it is I'm really excited because I love the Final Fantasy series. I love most of the games. Some of the games don't click with me, but
Yeah.
some of the games do click with me, and Final Fantasy VII was one of the best ones.
I've
So I'm
heard
very interested to
nothing but
see
good
how they
things about
take it.
7.
Yeah,
And
so
another
that's why
reason I'm interested
that's why
in
I'm
7.
so excited. I'm interested to see how well they do to bring back
Yeah.
this old classic.
Another reason I'm interested in 7 is because 7's a game that I've always wanted to play, and having like a new version of it, for me, someone who's always wanted to play it, is perfect, because it's a new AAA game that's just a remake of this thing I've always wanted to play anyway. Again, I probably won't be getting it at launch, but I will be getting it at some point. There's so many fucking games coming out this year that I want.
If you want the original, I could give you my Steam library. I have it.
That's a pretty interesting proposition. I might have to take you up on that. I'll be honest. We'll talk.
All right.
We'll talk. Next story. This one's flown under the fucking radar. People talked about this for like 2 hours and then forgot about it, despite the fact that this is potentially a pretty big story.
Wait, what is it?
Sony's been exploring remote play on the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
For PS4. I'm sure everyone already knows what remote play is, and we already know that Nintendo and Microsoft are pretty chummy. But if Nintendo could also get chummy with Sony, then we'd have a tasty gaming love triangle happening. If you feel me.
And then
Persona
if you
5
Google
Royal on the
it, you
Switch.
get a little spicy
Please.
with them too.
Please, Persona 5 on
Everything
Switch.
Stadia.
Everything.
I mean, Persona 5 Scramble. Persona 5 is technically on the Switch of Persona 5 Scramble. It's not the same, but from what I've seen from the gameplay, it's actually not that bad. Like, obviously, it keeps the Dynasty Warriors effect.
Yeah.
But then you kind of have like the turn-based feeling in there from Persona 5. Sometimes, like when you go to use a skill, it like stops to like,
Yeah.
oh, let me look through my menus.
That's a bit lame, but I guess it makes sense, I guess. Let's not dwell on this one because no one else did. I'll breeze past a couple. A new Silent Hill film's been announced. The reason that this is
Epic.
the reason that this is interesting is because a while ago there was loads of chatter about Konami looking into ways of expanding the Silent Hill franchise, and then they were like, "There's going to be a new movie," and everyone's like, "Oh, I guess this is what they meant."
Everyone screamed.
Every single person screamed. The Resident Evil Netflix series begins shooting in June. Wonderful 101's going to be on Switch. There's a Kickstarter for it where you can get blocked by Hideki Kamiya if you donate a certain amount of money, which is pretty funny. What else? Oh, the Super Bowl happened. Does anyone care about the Super Bowl in the year of our Lord
Super Bowl.
In the year of our Lord 2020, does any single person give a fuck about the Super Bowl?
What's the Super Bowl?
It's this thing, some kind of sport ball event.
Oh, I thought it was like a really, really big bowl.
I
they put
wish.
Food in.
It like the world's
I know what the
biggest
Super
bowl of
Bowl
food.
is. I know what the Super Bowl is. I'm not really a football fan. Anyway, next.
Yeah, well, there were some interesting trailers. Like everyone's favorite, Minions 2! Everyone! Minions 2, everyone! Minions 2! Let's talk about Minions 2 for the rest of the show. Minions 2, everyone! Minions! Minions 2!
Alright, I'm about to head out.
Okay.
Go ahead.
They did a Mountain Dew ad where Bryan Cranston did The Shining, and it was actually really cool. Jess, have you seen this one?
I haven't.
You gotta see it. Look.
That is cool.
It's Bryan Cranston as... What's his name in The Shining? Jack. It always confuses me because it's Jack Nicholson as Jack, but then he calls himself Johnny.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Stanley Kubrick. Kubrick. That's how you pronounce it, right? Say it. Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick.
Bryan Cranston Shining. That would be a great remake. Bryan Cranston's a really good actor. He needs a movie. I know, obviously, he had Breaking Bad, but I think he needs like a movie where he can really shine as an actor. Like a new movie. He needs something. Godzilla wasn't good enough. On Marvel news, did anyone see the big game spot for Marvel stuff on Disney Plus? It's the first time we've seen any actual footage from Marvel shows. They showed fucking Falcon as Captain America. Does anyone care about Marvel anymore?
No.
Anyone?
No.
After Endgame, and Tony Stark is Tony Stark, and then the Captain America is no longer a character.
Yeah.
I think people just sort of. Endgame was the finishing point for a lot of people. Some people still care about Marvel, not everyone.
For me, Infinity War is where it ended for me. Like, that was a really satisfying ending in my book.
Oh, you just want to be edgy, Josh.
No, Jess. Thematically, it was the most satisfying ending possible.
You just want to have less people on the Earth. I bet you were happy that the plague arrived.
You want
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were excited for the coronavirus.
I was cheering for it. The only thing in this trailer that looks slightly interesting is the clips from WandaVision, where they show it as... I mean, even the title WandaVision kind of sounds... The moment we heard the title, everyone thought, oh, is it going to be like a 50s style family show? And it kind of looks like that's the direction they're taking.
Is Vision back?
No, I think this is like based between Civil War and Infinity War, I think. Flub says, I will start watching when X-Men and Fantastic Four come out. Why not just watch Fant Four Stick? Right? Everyone loves that one. Breath of the Wild 2 is supposedly taking longer than they thought it was going to take to make. Disney's releasing a filmed version of Hamilton starring the original cast. I don't know if anyone cares about Hamilton. I do. I've been trying to see it for years, but I could just get it on DVD. Bethesda decided to finally put the game in Fallout 76, you know?
Yeah, I heard about that.
They actually released... Yeah?
Go ahead.
No, you go first. The release date is what I was going to say. They put a release date out.
They screwed up the launch. They screwed up with their own fan base. They fucked up the game code so much.
Yeah.
And then people got into the dev room, which had them remove stuff. And the game was essentially just burning down to the ground. And they're like, well, hey guys, if we release this, you're going to get back, yeah? No! If anybody goes back, good for them. They're gonna enjoy the game now that they actually have good content. But fuck off, Bethesda.
It was like a fucking hydrogen balloon crashing to the ground in front of us.
And then as the flames finally die down, you see like there's just a box.
Todd Howard.
They open the box, and the world like they open the box. Todd Howard pops out, and he just
shoots him in the face.
A button. No. He like clicks a button, and then everything magically starts rebuilding and getting better. And everyone's like, you've kind of been through shit for a while.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Gonna help?
Yeah.
You took all this time and now you're doing something about it? Are you sure, buddy?
Yeah. Well, I know that seeing as I own Fallout 76, the day that the Wastelanders expansion comes out, I'm gonna be streaming it because I'm not convinced. Everyone's like, oh, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be their No Man's Sky moment where they fix the game. Nope. I don't believe it. No way. It's going to be a fucking mess again. I guarantee it.
In the great words of Todd Howard,
it just works.
It just works. I love he knew where I was going with that.
Oh, I fucking love him. Oh man, if you go back to his interviews from the Skyrim reveal where he's like, if you see a mountain, you can climb it. Any mountain. Is that right, Todd? Skyrim will have infinite endings. That was a Todd Howard quote before Skyrim was released. Skyrim will have
there are
infinite
endings because all the ways you can die. That dying
like
is an ending.
I guess any game has infinite endings in that case.
Yeah. You can't generate infinite ending, and because first off, you have to code all of those endings.
He should have said it then.
If you have an infinite amount of endings, the file size for the game itself will be too high to contain on anything. You wanna know why? Because if there's infinite endings, it's infinite size.
Do you know how you fix
cannot
that?
contain infinite storage. What?
Cloud storage.
Yeah.
Cloud storage is also
What I'm saying
very
is-
limited in the end.
Cloud streaming of it on a cloud streaming platform that I won't name specifically. Choose your favorite. Flub says, you were saying Bryan Cranston needs a new role, and that MCU mention got me thinking, what about Bryan Cranston as Norman Osborn? I would love to see Bryan Cranston as Norman Osborn. I think he could really do an interesting take on, if he like mixed a slightly less cheesy take on what fucking who acted Green Goblin, Jess?
I don't know, the Goblin Man.
The Goblin Man, yeah. The guy from The Lighthouse. Willem Dafoe, that's the one. Yeah, a bit of a less cheesy take on what Willem Dafoe did. I think Bryan Cranston could really, rock that. I genuinely do. Wow, I got more into that idea than I thought I would. Dan Houser is leaving Rockstar Games.
Who?
Dan Houser, one of the co-founders and vice president of the company.
Retirement, probably.
Oh, probably,
The
but it's
founder.
really big news because him and his brother were basically like the big boys of the whole company, right?
Yeah.
Dan Houser was the lead writer on Bully, Max Payne 3, and Red Dead 1, right? Which are some of the best written games that they've ever released. He wrote huge parts of almost every GTA game, and generally it's going to have a really big effect on the game in future. Bryan Cranston could take it both ways. He's great at pulling off cheese. He is, and Bryan Cranston's up for anything as well, as far as I can tell. He's kind of just up for doing anything in a role. So it could be really interesting seeing him as the Green Goblin. Did I ever show you guys my audition for the Green Goblin?
Oh no.
No, but I don't want to see it. I'm afraid.
It's an audio one. It was a voice one. It was for like a comic like dub for YouTube and that someone wanted, and they asked for an audition. I wonder if I can find it.
I think it was on your desktop for a while.
No, it's gone now. It's not on my desktop.
Well,
it might still be on my computer. I'll look for it sometime and maybe, yeah.
I was gonna say after that, if you find it, we should. I think it's technically, even though we just talked about the Rockstar vice president leaving, we should roll into another game story about a certain battle royale game that just released season 4.
Oh yes, please. You'll be the expert on this one. I haven't played season 4 yet on Apex.
All right. Apex Legends Season 4 just got released. For those who were following Apex Twitter intently, they tried to pull it off as some character named Forge was going to be in. They gave these big updates. They showed his character profile and his comments on the other Legends. But in turn, for those of you who played the Halloween event last season or the season before, I don't remember which exactly. They had a Halloween event where you hear spooky voice talking over the whole time, and when people die, they turn into shadows. That is Revenant, the newest legend, because in the last trailer of Forge, Revenant murders Forge, taking his place in the Apex games. And Revenant has been added. His main abilities are, his passive is he can climb higher and crouch walk faster than any legend ever.
That's pretty cool.
His tactical is called Silence. What Silence is he hits people with an orb that negates their tactical and ultimate abilities for up to 10 seconds, and his ultimate is a death totem where if you get shot enough, you go, instead of dying, you go back to the totem instead of dying, and you get a second chance at the fight. Now, the trailer that's currently being shown on screen is of Revenant when he still thought he was human. As you could see from the reflections in the mirrors while he was climbing, you could see both a robot and a man. And as he's coming in here now to take out the target, you see the robot, but he does not see the robot. Revenant sees himself as a human because him and robotics, as we found out, is the one who made Revenant into what he is, a simulacrum. He thinks he's human, but they've programmed the robot to think he's human, have his thoughts, his brain, and whatnot. But Revenant is the ultimate hitman made by Hammond Robotics. But at the end of this trailer, I'm gonna let the trailer play out because I don't want to ruin it.
Who would win in a fight? A Revenant from Doom, this Revenant, or John Glass from The Revenant?
This Revenant.
Probably this Revenant, you're right. Revenants in Doom
Because
get fucked.
This Revenant can legitimately cheat death.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, several times over. In fact, he is death, as you'll find at the end of this trailer.
I'm going to turn the audio on a bit.
What the hell are you? Death.
His voice is
Death.
cool.
Yeah, you see that glass shard in his shoulder, by the way, that he's probably pulling out now because of the joy. And you see how he saw himself as a human.
Yes.
That glass shard ruined the programming in him.
Oh, so now he
by
sees
cutting
himself
off
as a
vital
machine.
line. So now he sees himself, and he's seeing through the lies that Hammond Robotics has put into his mind, realizing what he is now. He's essentially in this moment, once he realizes what he is, and seeing the Hammond Robotics sign on his hand, he essentially becomes so upset
He gets
that he now
angry.
seeks revenge. Yeah, that he now seeks revenge on Hammond Robotics, which is why in the Forge trailer, when he kills Forge, he's sending a message to Hammond Robotics. He's killing their poster boy to try to show them and once they see him, that's the message sent. I know what you've done.
I see.
I'm coming for my revenge.
Well, it sounds like a pretty interesting character. A little edgy. They could have done this one at Halloween.
He is very edgy because a lot of his voice lines are very negative. But my
Yeah.
favorite one is when he thanks you or he says you're welcome. But like if you ping loot and he picks it up and you press the thank button instead of thanking, he's like, "I'm not thanking you. Don't think I owe you anything," and all this other stuff. And then when he says you're welcome, usually what he says is, "I'm not doing this for you."
He seems like the Apex version of Reaper.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have akin him to is Reaper.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I see it too. Because
Fuck,
death.
Shit. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Oh god.
Ignore Jess,
my
she's playing a game.
Oh no. Oh shit.
Nice.
Oh god.
The other thing that happened is Hammond Robotics made their stand on the World's Edge map. They added the Harvester, which is this giant building machine that is currently harvesting the power of the planet to make power. And there's a giant sky laser that if you fly into that, you die. It's great.
Epic.
Yeah. As well as that, the planet is now in ruin. There's lava everywhere. There's a new gun called the Sentinel. It's a sniper rifle. It's does 65 body damage, 130 headshot damage.
Yep.
And if you use a shield battery, you give it disruptor rounds, which no matter what, one shot will always take out the shields, no matter what.
That's pretty cool.
It's honestly, it's not worth it. You're better off just saving your batteries. What's the other fun thing about the new season? Oh yeah,
Login gifts.
not much.
Yeah, I
Other
think
than
you've got it all.
I've got it all, other than like the ranked and the
Yeah.
login gifts and whatnot. But there's new backstory coming out for a couple of characters. Like we now know that Caustic, the man of science who only cares for death and nothing else to study and catalyze the process and only cares for science, actually has a soft side for the other character, Watson,
Yeah.
the electricity lady, because he admired her father or something like that, and she had designed the ring for the Apex games. I don't
I
know
see.
the full story on that, but I'm really interested to learn that.
Yeah, that does sound interesting.
Like the man of solitude actually cares for at least one person.
Yeah, Reaper looks interesting. How's the gameplay?
Revenant.
Like how is Reaper
Yeah, Reaper.
how is his gameplay? Is
he plays like all the other legends.
Yeah.
Except for his crouch walking movement and his climbing, which,
faster.
as I've said, are better.
Yeah.
The climbing isn't faster, but he climbs higher, and the crouch walking is faster, making it easy to flank enemies.
Very
I've
cool.
already done something like that. My favorite thing is I did what was called an Assassin's Creed, where I dropped down on an enemy, where they were reviving after a long fight, and I dropped down on them because they didn't even know I was up there, and I got them. That was pretty fun. I wish I was
Very
recording that.
epic.
Yeah.
I do have a sad story for our next story. Lilo and
Okay,
Stitch.
go ahead.
Lilo and Stitch is reportedly getting a live-action CGI hybrid
Oh,
remake.
Jesus Christ, you're going on about this.
Lilo and Stitch was my favorite film as a kid. I'm not kidding.
Yes, I know. I know. Yeah, Lilo and Stitch was very well, but you're going on this decision that the Disney has made.
Why the fuck? You know what? What am I doing? They've already done it with like 4 different movies. Probably more.
I know.
Fuck them. Let me get up a picture of Bob Iger right now. Bob Iger, there he is. Bob Iger, here he is. See this man? This man's crushed all of our hopes and dreams systematically for the past decade.
Isn't that like the CEO of Disney?
Yes.
Thought so.
There was a new trailer for the new Saw movie, starring and I think directed by Chris Rock. That's the story. Atomic Heart also got a new trailer. Remember Atomic Heart? Remember when that was announced and everyone was like, hey, that seems interesting, and then everyone forgot about it. Do you remember when this trailer came out and everyone was like, cool, and then everyone forgot about it instantly because I don't know what it is about this game. It just seems to not stick in people's minds. It doesn't stick in my mind, I'll tell you that much. I don't know why either. It looks pretty interesting.
It's cause you're lame.
I am pretty
You're a
lame,
millennial,
I will
you
admit.
don't have the attention span to take in the properties of this trailer.
Jess, I can't believe you say that to
scum.
me. Sam Raimi is
Get on your
supposedly...
millennial Falcon at Disney fucking Star Wars, you millennial idiots.
Sam Raimi is supposedly in talks to direct Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Jess, I know you didn't mean it.
I know, but I just want to make sure.
Well, as we saw from his amazing work at that Spider-Man movie.
He did a Spider-Man? I'm just joking. That was a bit.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you,
did,
I'll be here all
three.
evening.
They were the best. I love them. They're
He
my
almost
childhood.
he almost accidentally choked the Spider-Man actor in one of the scenes from the first movie. You remember the scene, like right at the beginning while he's at the school, he fell down and someone hits him with the backpack?
Yeah.
That was Sam Raimi.
Are you
Sam Raimi hit
serious?
him with a backpack. Yeah,
Oh
that
my
was
God.
Sam Raimi hit him with a backpack.
That's amazing.
And there's a blooper where he accidentally, like the backpack strap loops around the actor's neck.
I wish to someday have the balls to fuck with my actors as much as Sam Raimi does. What a man. He's basically just a bully.
Yeah.
Back to video game news. Ubisoft has announced they're going to be launching 5 AAA games between April 2020 and March 2021. That's the basically the 2020 fiscal year, which will include Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine. They're also saying it's going to be 2 games from other big franchises. Most likely, as Jason Schreier here is saying, and he's usually reasonably reliable, AC and Far Cry. But Far Cry's come out of fucking nowhere. No one's been talking about a new Far Cry game. Where's this come from?
I don't know.
Sam Raimi should do a Resident Evil film flop. That's a fucking great idea. Someone call someone about that. Sam Raimi has to do Resident Evil.
I don't know. But my favorite thing as well is that you mentioned that, and I just remembered something.
Please tell.
Call of Duty. GameSpot just tweeted out a couple days ago. A new Call of Duty has been confirmed 2020. Like, no duh. Call of Duty releases a game every year.
Yeah, seriously.
At the same month. It always releases every year in November. Sometimes it's released in October. Sometimes it's released in the beginning of December. It's always every year around that same area.
Yes, absolutely. And every year, IGN and stuff, they always like, a new Call of Duty's been announced and confirmed. No shit. They just use it to get clicks, obviously.
And then they go on and they're like hyping it up, and the game comes out, and then they give like these subpar reviews.
Yeah,
like,
they're like, oh, it was alright.
No, yeah, dude, it was okay. Oh, this one was shit. Like the one that everyone loved, Black Ops 3, which is a pretty okay game.
Yeah,
People
by Call
actually
of Duty
liked it.
standards.
They were like, we'll give it a 6. It was okay. It was above average, but it wasn't that good. Like what
Yeah.
the hell? This is the most players do from any game other than MW2 and Black Ops 2.
Yeah. So, just to finish on this Ubisoft point, who's excited for
sorry for that.
Assassin's Creed Vikings?
Oh boy,
Anyone?
another Assassin's Creed game. Woohoo! Yay!
Anyone, except this time it's Vikings.
Whoa!
Wow.
It's not the Romans or the Greeks or pirates or just people in Italy or these old monks. It's Vikings.
Viking. No
I
one
think
gives
they're
a
running
fuck.
out of ideas and they're just trying to get money at this point.
They
That's
definitely are. Where's the
like-
feudal Japan Assassin's Creed? Seriously, that would be
yeah,
cool.
where's Assassin's Creed Samurai?
That would be fucking sick. Imagine how creative they could be with the designs.
The hidden blade is just a scimitar.
It's a full-sized katana of their sleeve.
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
They walk around like
exactly.
this.
No. It's like this, you know, the spirit from Dead by Daylight. How
Yeah.
the katana is just inside of her, but instead of that, it's just like, you know, they have like one arm always extended at every point, and like the other arm
It's
walks
like he's wearing
around
a
freely, while the
cast.
other one looks like you're like, well, the other one looks like you and another person are holding a big cooler and are swinging around to see whether or not it's gonna fall or break.
Fuck's sake. Very subtle, very hidden.
Very hidden, no one will ever know.
Next story, a trailer came out for a Big Lebowski spin-off. Literally
Where's
no
the
one on
money,
the planet.
Lebowski?
Literally no one on the planet cares about a spin-off of the Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski's good,
I don't know.
but I don't care
I don't know,
about
but
the spin-off.
20k really care.
Oh my god. Right. Disney won't let Nintendo put Sora in Smash. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
We already knew that was gonna happen because
Yeah.
licensing. Maybe, you know, Square Enix would be okay with it more than likely. The other people who had a little bit of a hand in it would be like, yeah, wow, I'm really excited. You know, we like Smash Bros. Disney would obviously just say no, because
Yeah,
it's
obviously.
Disney and it's their character. God
Well,
forbid anyone use
yeah,
it for anything.
I
even
think it's
for
mostly 'cause
subtle little arch.
Disney really has something against video games. I mean,
No,
famously
Disney
during
has something against. Go ahead.
Disney, I mean, do you remember back during the whole loot boxes debacle with Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it first came out? And their
Yeah.
only comment was, "We don't really do video games. Just as a company,
But
we don't really do video games."
But it's just Disney is such no. It's because honestly, the only reason Sora is not in there is because
I
they're money
agree.
grabbers.
Like,
it's their character.
and in
No one else.
a
can
World
use
War
it.
II,
People can
or
barely
even
use
World War I
Mickey's
Assassin's Creed
head.
game would be really
Not even his
interesting.
full
That'd
head,
be
just the
genuinely interesting.
outline logo of Mickey's head at all, even for a subtle thing, without Disney being on them immediately. Like, oh, yep, that's a lawsuit.
Absolutely.
Like my a YouTuber named EA Games had like a couple Mickey heads in his album, but it was cause for Kingdom Hearts, so you know he had all the symbols that were in it.
Yeah.
And Disney immediately came down on him like, get rid of that.
Of course they did.
But so Disney's more likely to buy out Nintendo before ever thinking about letting Sora in Smash.
Definitely, and Disney could probably afford to buy out Nintendo.
Yeah, 3 times over at least.
God, Disney has so
My
much
other
fucking money.
favorite.
No, people don't appreciate how much fucking money Disney has.
That they have and use for themselves and not for any greater good.
For realsies. All right, we got a couple more stories. First up, Anthem has now been officially confirmed to be doing a ground up restructuring as a game. They're going to be changing everything, basically just releasing a whole new game.
It's been a whole fucking year.
And they've
It took
only
them
just
this
decided to do
Fucking long.
How
It took them this
embarrassing.
goddamn long. Anthem was
yeah.
okay. Like everyone loved it right at the beginning, and then after that, it's like
After
No.
people realized that there was just like not that much game there, everyone was like, "Oh, And then there was a bunch of other stuff surrounding it that was just not good with how EA handled the release and refunds and that sort of thing. It was Fallout 76 before Fallout 76 or after Fallout 76? No, it was before Fallout 76, just before, I think.
Yeah, because Fallout 76. No, wait, it was just after because Anthem released February of 2019.
Yeah, you're right. It was
Fallout
just
76
after.
released November 14th, 2018. They released just after. But here's the thing. They hadn't already screwed up before and already have a meme made of them.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they really fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fallout. Screws up every 5 seconds. BioWare is usually a very good company.
Absolutely.
Which is why it was such a shock that it was not good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That was the shocking part. That BioWare usually make really, really high quality games, and then it's just because it's something new and something that they're not used to doing.
The old Star Wars games, Dragon Age,
Yeah.
Mass Effect, those are all really good games. So for Anthem to come out and it be not good, that's why everyone was like,
Absolutely. And to give a TLDR of this blog post, they basically say, so over the last year we've worked to basically just iron out all of the rampant glitches and bugs in the game. And now, from now on, we're going to be solely focusing on just completely remaking the game, restructuring the whole gameplay loop to make the missions actually fun. We're going to keep in the stuff that we know works, like flying and the combat, but we're actually going to put a story that people care about in there. And missions that actually feel like you're doing something. Well, that's the Anthem story. Kojima Productions is raising money for the Australia fires. Rebuilding everything after the fires in Australia, which I think is very wholesome. They're one of the... It's supposed to be, according to... I think it was either Kotaku. It wasn't IGN. It was Kotaku or Polygon or someone said that it's meant to be the biggest quote-unquote indie studio fundraiser for the Australia wildfires, which is nice. That's nice. Good for Kojima Productions. Talk about that in a bit.
Death Stranding has a new mission where Sam Porter goes to Australia
and puts out and gets a fire extinguisher and puts out some fires.
No, you get a little koala hoodie.
Yeah, you get a koala's
You get a little
scalp.
koala hoodie, and then you have to ease the souls of those lost from the Australia fire.
And then they put their
Pay
thumbs up
respects
and
and
hearts come
whatnot.
out of them. Next story, System Shock 3 has probably been shelved. We're probably not going to see it, even though there was a demo of it at the Game Awards.
Wow, what a shock.
To the system. Anyway.
Oh, I just tabbed in. I just saw the comment. No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
You
I just thought it
fool.
out myself.
You
I just tabbed back in.
Well, yeah, System Shock 3 is dead, most likely, which is sad. Next, we're going to talk award shows. The Razzies have been announced. I won't talk about all of them. I'll just talk about Worst Picture. Worst Picture nominees are The Fanatic, The Haunting of Sharon Tate, Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral, Rambo: Last Blood, and Cats.
I love how you waited to say Cats to the last, even though it was the first on the list.
I know, it's because I fucking love Cats. It's legitimately the most fun I've had in the theater, the cinema even, in years. It was so much fun. I've never laughed that hard out loud in a public place.
No one else was laughing. It was just you.
It was just me, I will admit. Some old people gave me some strange looks, but fuck me. When Idris Elba goes "Meow" and vanishes into the air. Oh, when fucking Jason Derulo goes, "I don't want any milk," walks out of a building and then turns around, sees the milk sign and goes, "Milk!" It's fucking comedy. Watch Cats if you haven't already, but don't give them money. I'm not telling you to pirate it, but don't give them money, but watch it. if you catch my
I'm
drift.
not saying pirate it, but, I'm
But
not
don't
saying
pay for it. The haunting of Sharon Tate. No, yeah, the haunting of Sharon Tate's the only one in this list that I actually don't know that much about. I kind of know what it's about.
Who's this?
That's Flub.
Are you sure?
Yes. Pretty sure. Flub, are you sentient cheese on Steam? Anyway, yes. The Fanatic is hilarious. That's a funny movie too. John Travolta's having a mental breakdown.
To answer, yes, Flub is sentient cheese.
Okay.
There we go. Tyler Perry's A Medea Funeral. I've not heard of it until just now, and I already know exactly what it is, and I hate it. Rambo Last Blood was awful. That's it. It wasn't even funny bad, it was just bad, which is why I don't think it should win. That is me, one of my accounts. One of Flub's many accounts.
I've got a big belly. It's poking out.
You've got a belly, similar to all of us. Anyway, let's talk about the opposite awards. Let's talk about the Oscars, baby.
The Cars Awards.
The Cars Awards? Why the Cars Awards?
Joaquin Phoenix won Best Actor, hooray!
Joaquin Phoenix did win Best Actor, and that was the one I cared. That was the win I probably cared least about, but it's probably because I was extraordinarily drunk. Because we did a drinking game throughout the night. I got some clips from it here.
You recorded it?
I recorded some of it.
I just want to hear a drunken Grith go, yeah!
Joker!
It's just me screaming about Bong Joon-ho.
Have you got where you walk around and you can't walk?
And I might have gotten mine wrong, so please count for me as well.
I think there's a moment where I say where you say, Josh, you should have closed your eyes to not get spoilers.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think I can.
Yeah, you did. And it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean, Josh?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, probably.
He was too drunk. God.
It was very fun. I'm probably going to see if I can get better drunk Grith clips at some point from those clips that I took.
We don't endorse alcohol abuse.
I didn't abuse it. I don't abuse alcohol. What do you know about?
I don't know. Twitch, we're good boys. I promise. We're good boys.
Jeff Bezos can suck my nuts. Okay, anyway. Jeff Bezos was there at the Oscars.
I
Did
think
you
I
know
just
that?
accidentally invited Jeff just somewhere. I'm going to delete that. Sorry, it was an accidental button press.
Jeff! Bong Joon-ho won like 4 awards?
4 or
He's won
5.
4 awards. He's the first South Korean anything to win an Oscar. And he won 4 awards, including Best Picture. And I just want to impress upon everyone how incredibly amazingly impressive that is. And also, he was very humble. Can I also say that? He was very sweet. There was a moment after he won his first one where you could see someone else talking and you could see him in the background looking down at his Oscar in disbelief, and then suddenly he just snaps into smiling, just this like overjoy. It was so sweet. It was so wholesome.
It was so cute.
Anyway, to round it off, I'm going to get back on my bullshit horse, and I'm going to talk about theme parks, everyone. Theme park news. Star Wars Hotel, everyone. Get everyone. Star Wars Hotel's opening this year. It's going to be, who gives us, only anyone that cares, so I'm not going to talk about that. But that's it. That's all we've got to talk about here for the GRYITH show. That's all of the news. Simon, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
All right.
Yes.
This is a very serious topic I'd like to give out to everyone right now.
I'm ready.
So it's come to light that recently, one Mr. Twitch.tv/GRYITH has lost his limited run Apollo 11 leather jacket.
Yes, some monster stole it.
I don't know who.
If I
would
find
like to.
out.
Is it appropriate to announce something about my friend real quick?
Please do.
You guys don't know who my friend is, but I would like to announce that my friend had proposed to his girlfriend and she has said yes.
Hey.
That's really
Yay,
nice.
lovely.
That's so sweet.
I'm gonna propose to Josh at Sonic, and I'm gonna give him a golden ring.
No, she's
There
gonna
you
punch
go.
me in the face and a bunch of gold rings are gonna fly out of me.
Yeah. And you'll go,
And I go,
and you'll like fly.
and Jim Carrey will come down and go,
Yeah.
but that's really
He's gonna
sweet,
do
Samu.
the Grinch smile. He's gonna do the Grinch smile without any makeup on. And
That fucking
Anyway.
clip of him doing the Grinch smile without the makeup on is terrifying.
He is.
I've got it
terrifying.
around
I
here
don't
somewhere.
Like him. He's scary.
What, Jim Carrey?
He's scary.
Are you saying he's Jim Scary?
I am.
Oh my god, where did I put that clip
You're
of Jim
too
Carrey doing the
scary,
face?
Josh.
Here it is, I think.
You need to go to the gym because you're too scary.
No, where is it?
What am I meant to do?
Jim Carrey, fucking
How
Grinch,
do I leave?
Sonic.
Josh, have you played Firewatch before? I don't know how to leave. Am I meant to be getting in my car? Yes. Okay.
Oh, who gives a fuck? Right, that's it with the Grit Show. Thanks for coming this week. I hope you enjoyed Grit standing in a hallway for 5 straight minutes.
Yeah. And me
Griff
not
in the
doing
hall, where'd he
anything.
Where he go?
Me being
Uh,
quiet and not talking.
And I also want to thank Samu for being here for
Yeah.
the show. It was nice having you.
yes, yeah, it's nice to be back on Tuja Grit show. Can you do me
Yes.
a favor real quick before
Yes.
we end? Can you show off Tuja Lighter to everyone?
Yes.
Oh no. No, because it's actually got fluid in it. So watch out. Okay, watch out. Watch out. I don't like this.
Accidentally hits his mic like a fool.
No, that was me. Don't light it, please. I'm really frightened.
Nice.
No. I'm scared.
Oh, there it was.
Now light yourself on fire with that.
All right, everyone. I hope you're ready to see a snuff movie. Thanks for coming to the last episode of the Grit Show.
Sorry, I just wanted to
Thank
get
you all so
like
much for
really
watching the
close
Grith
to
Show. We
camera.
hope you all enjoyed. If you're not following Grith to see more of the Grith Show and also more of the streams that he does,
Grith doesn't
on
smoke,
Wednesday he
by the
does
way.
wild card streams. Friday he does spooky streams. You know, he's got some assorted stuff on the weekends. If you are also, he's got a YouTube somewhere down below. He has videos every week, but you should definitely follow twitch.tv/Grith. He's a good boy, even though he got food poisoning from KFC and proceeded to be very upset about it.
It's true. Samu knows what he's
Thank you for
talking
joining the Grith
about.
Show. Thank you for joining the Grith Show. See you guys next
Yes.
time when we talk
Yeah.
about my crippling Pepsi addiction and also maybe
Yes.
about Griff and what he did that week.
Yes. Also, we're gonna probably go straight into After Dark because I want to chat to
I'm trying to play with the
people who
green
don't like
screen.
coming into the live shows. So, farewell, everyone. Thank you for coming. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
My hair is see-through and I hate it.